The Unfinished Legacy, Reclaiming Your Path from the Father's Shadow. Welcome to a very special Father's Day edition of Younique Yet Connected. Today, we are exploring a different kind of paternal bond. The one that doesn't just give us life, but sometimes inadvertently gives us a script we didn't ask to perform.
What if the crown you are wearing is 3 sizes too heavy for your head? Today we look at the father, specifically the unfinished dreams of a father that settle on the shoulders of a daughter. We witness the moment she stops trying to fix his biography and finally starts writing her own.
Welcome to Younique Yet Connected. I'm Nolitha, Xozwa, Fenton, Itologazi, the explorer of the unseen, the unheard, and the untold. The space holder, seeker, and sacred witness in the work of systemic family constellations. As always, I'm not alone. Kinga and Nika on the other side of the virtual. Over to you, Kings.
Thank you, Noli. Hello, dear listeners and co-editors. This is where we explore the hidden patterns that shape our lives. I am Kinga Szilágyi, facilitator and guide through the field where unseen truth is rise to the surface. Together, we walk the invisible terrain of the family soul where the wisdom that speaks is when the system reveals itself.
Thank you for joining our movement of translating the wisdom of systemic family constellations into a practical language that all of us can easily understand and, most importantly, implement in our daily lives. The burden of the invisible promise. Our client today is a woman who feels stuck. Despite being high achieving, she feels like she's walking through waist-deep water. She told us, I have everything I wanted, but I feel like I'm living someone else's life.
She used the word crown. And in systemic work, crowns are symbols of legacy and authority, but also of heavy expectations. We asked about her father, and her eyes immediately filled with tears.
She described him as a great man with a hard life. He was broken by political and social circumstances. He had dreams of being a writer and a leader, but he never reached his full potential.
Unconsciously, our client became the vessel for those dreams. This is an unfinished legacy. When a parent cannot fulfill their own destiny, the child often tries to finish it for them out of love.
Before we even brought in representatives, the pressure in the room was palpable. It felt like a ceiling that was just a few inches too low, forcing everyone to crouch.
We set up a representative for the client and one for her purpose. We wanted to see what was standing between her and her own joy. The result was staggering image of systemic weight.
The client's representative couldn't stand straight. She was hunched over, clutching her shoulders as if she were holding a massive trunk of unwritten books. She was too busy caring to actually live.
The representative for purpose was standing far away, looking out the window. There was no connection. You cannot reach for your own future when your hands are full of your father's past.
This is the hidden cost of being the good daughter. You spend your energy validating your father's existence by fulfilling his lost potential, leaving no room for your own unique identity.
We realized she wasn't just loyal to him, she was identified with his disappointment. She felt that being too happy would be an insult to his unhappy life.
It's a form of survival's guilt. How can I shine when my father died in the shadows? To outshine the father feels like a betrayal, so the child stays stuck to stay close to him.
We knew we had to bring the father into the circle, not as a ghost, but as a systemic force. We needed to see if he actually wanted her to carry his crown of regret.
The energy shifted from stagnant to reverent. The paternal line was calling for order. The child cannot be the savior of the parent. The parent must be the source for the child.
The father representative stepped in. He didn't look like a taskmaster. He looked like a man who was deeply tired. He finally looked at his daughter, a look she had been waiting for 30 years.
The movement began with his gaze. It was a gaze that didn't demand success, but offered recognition. The invisible promise was about to be renegotiated.
Let's look at the bigness of the father and the weight of the crown. It is where the daughter finally gets to be small enough to be free.
The father's gaze and the weight of the crown. The father representative looked at the client and his face crumpled. He didn't look at her with expectation. He looked at her with grief. He said, "I am so sorry I gave you my sadness to hold."
This is a core truth. Most parents don't mean to burden their children. The crown is dropped because the parent is too exhausted to hold it, and the child picks it up, thinking it is a gift.
Mm-hmm. The client's representative started to shake. She said, "I've been trying to win your battles so you wouldn't have to be a failure anymore." She was trying to rewrite his history.
And the father said, "I am not a failure. I am a man who lived his life. My life ended where it ended, and that is my dignity. You don't need to fix my biography."
When the father claims his own fate, failures and all, he becomes big again. The daughter no longer has to be his prop. She can finally become small, which is the only place a child can grow.
I brought in a representative for the unfinished dreams. It looked like a heavy, dusty box sitting right between them. The daughter was standing on top of that box, trying to reach his height.
She felt that if she let go of the box, she would lose her connection to him. This is the loyalty of suffering. We stay stuck because stuck is where we meet our parents.
The father representative reached out and pulled the box toward himself. He said, "This is my box. These are my lost battles. They belong in my arms, not yours."
The physical change was like watching a flower open. She could finally breathe. The invisible crown dissolved because the father was now holding the weight himself.
She realized she had been a proxy for a ghost, a living woman trying to finish a dead man's work. But a child can never finish a parent's work. They can only start their own.
The father looked more solid, holding his own disappointment, than he did when his daughter was carrying it. He regained his place as the source of life, not the source of duty.
The representative for purpose began to turn around. The path was clearing. But we had to address the golden child contract, the secret deal to never be better than him.
The daughter was empty-handed for the first time in years. She looked light, but she also looked lost. When you lose a burden you've carried for decades, you lose your sense of self.
we had to give her a new foundation. We moved into the healing sentences of release. This is the moment where the daughter stops being a monument to his regrets.
The air was thick with the history of their paternal line. It was time for the daughter to step out of the shadow and into the light of her own unborrowed life.
Let's see how she used the power of language to cut the threads of expectation and reclaim her unique purpose. You are still listening to Younique Yet Connected. The theme for this Father's Day's episode is The Unfinished Legacy, reclaiming your past from the Father's shadow. Remember to like, share, and subscribe at www.youniqueyetconnected.com.
The healing sentences of paternal release. The client stood before her father, looking him in the eye. Kinga asked her to say, "Dear father, I see your struggle. I see all that you wanted to be and couldn't."
Then the sentence of separation. I leave these dreams with you. They are your story. They are your dignity. I am just your daughter. The father representative nodded in agreement.
He said, "Yes, I am the big one. You are the small one. I give you life, not a job description. This is the restoration of the systemic order."
She continued, I have been trying to make you happy by being successful, but today I see that your happiness is not my responsibility. I leave your fate with you.
This is the hardest thing for a good child to say. It feels like betrayal, but it is actually the highest form of love. It says, I trust that you are strong enough to carry your own life.
The father then stepped behind her. He placed his hands on her shoulders, not as a weight, but as a support. He became the wind at her back instead of the wall in her way.
He told her, I stand behind you. Whatever I couldn't do, I live with the past. You are free to do what I couldn't. You are free to be happy, even if I wasn't.
When the father gives permission to be happy, the daughter doesn't have to justify her existence anymore. She just exists. Her life is the profit of his life, not a threat to it.
The client representative turned toward her own life. She wasn't turning her back on him in anger. She was turning toward her purpose with his blessing.
The forward movement is only possible when the backward movement of rescuing is finished. She realized her stuckness was just waiting for this permission.
But there was a final shadow. The fear of being too much. If she were truly powerful, would she be too much for the men in her life? We had to address the Empress energy.
We brought in the representative for the new past. It didn't look like her father's dreams. It looked joyful. It looked like play. The client gasped in recognition.
She realized she's been pursuing serious success because her father's failure was serious. She didn't think she was allowed to have a career that was light and creative.
Systemically, we reenact the tone of our parents' lives. If they were martyrs, we become martyrs. To be light feels like a sin against their memory.
She said to the father, Father, I will take my life now. I will make it beautiful and light in honor of your hard work. I will do it differently than you did.
The father representative smiled. Please, do it differently. I've already done heavy. I don't need to see it again. The final key had turned in the lock.
Reflection exercise. We invite you to take a moment for your own paternal line. The energy of your father's unfinished dreams lives in your cells.
The visual. Close your eyes. Visualize your father standing before you. Look at his hands. Is he trying to hand you a box or a crown that feels too heavy for you? The inquiry. Ask yourself, what part of my life am I doing just to prove that my father wasn't a failure? Where am I trying to finish his story instead of starting my own? The release. Imagine taking that weight, the duty, the expectation, and gently placing it at his feet. It belongs to his history, not your future. The sentence. Say to him internally, I love you, Father. I see your hard life. I leave your dreams with you. And I take only your blessing. I will do something different with my life. Breathe in the support of the line behind you. You are not a monument to his regrets. You are a living testament to his strengths. You are finally allowed to be light.
In the next episode, we still share with you how the field reveals the roots, the repetition, and the release.
And along the way, we will guide you in understanding how this work can support your own healing. Because the field doesn't just know my story, it knows yours too.
So take a deep breath, open your heart, and join us as we share with you what the field knows.
Because sometimes what you are searching for isn't outside of you. It is waiting quietly in the field for you to remember.
A big thank you to you for listening to our episode, and to Nick Mons from That Guy Productions for making us sound fabulous and on point.
For episode 98, tune in on Sunday, 5th of July 2026 from 10 a.m. South African Standard Time. For links and updates, stay tuned to our Facebook and Instagram pages at Younique Yet Connected, Younique spelled Youunique.
Stay unique, stay connected. Siyabulela, kosonom, bayadanki.
Thank you. Siyabulela, köszönöm, bayadanki.